Today we got none other than Uzi Vert. Fans are disappointed in him. What's up, internet? It's your boy xCephasx, and I'm the creative director at xCephasx Studios, where we make animations for clothing brands, snack brands, and I guess rappers too. And let's jump right into today's video. Let's go, baby!
Ready? Yes!
Apparently the man's is 30 years old. Did you guys know that Uzi Vert is 30? He's a 30-year-old man. I had no idea that I was only 3 years older than Uzi Vert, dude. That's kind of sad, no? Okay, let's find out why. Let's find out why it's
Uzi, 30 years old, cosplaying as a teenage anime boy. Lil Uzi Vert seen out in public with controversial content creator Glow Diddy again. When you find out your goat is washed, which is the most liked post in the Lil Uzi Vert Reddit in the past year. It seems like Uzi's fans have had enough of him cosplaying, inhaling night, dropping mid-music and hanging out with people who have Diddy allegations. And that's really only the surface of what's been going on with Uzi in the past couple years. So let's delve into why Lil Uzi's fanbase is turning on him. So let's bring it back a couple of years and let's look at where Uzi was at in his career. So obviously, as we all know, he was one of the most prominent figures in this SoundCloud scene back around 2017 and 2018, with him really leading that entire wave as he was the biggest artist from that era. Not only was he dropping straight hits, but he also had the perfect aesthetic. The colored dreads matched with the craziest outfits. Everybody just absolutely loved Uzi. Well, now let's fast forward to the March of 2020 when Uzi shocked the world by surprise dropping his most anticipated album yet, Eternal Take. This release completely broke the internet as it was dropped randomly in the morning of a Friday, and with albums normally dropping at midnight, most fans thought Uzi wasn't going to drop. And I mean, most of you will know the trend of like everyone remembers what they were doing when Uzi dropped Eternal.
Okay, here's the deal with everything that's going on right now. It sucks. It sucks that all your favorite artists have to get older, they have to age. Time really is not on anyone's side. Time takes us all. Eventually, we all end up in the grave. We all end up 6 feet deep. But I will say, most likely, is that when you're coming to the game as a youngin, like Uzi Vert did, and you kind of grow up in the music industry, everyone kind of has this Peter Pan effect. Because you forget to grow up because everyone loves you. Everyone loves the things you were doing. But there's also the sense of trying to like do everything that you did before. Reach the same accolades, reach the same numbers. So you end up kind of like in this trope and kind of a caricature of yourself in the most part. So it's kind of sad to see that Uzi Vert kind of like is growing up, but this is what has to happen. And also, the thing that's happening in the music industry right now is that things are not lasting nearly as long as they need to. When projects used to drop like Lover's Rage or Lover's Rage 2, it lasted for like 2-3 years where people were still talking about the project. You could find people posting artworks of it in their sort of interpolation, different colored hair, this, that, and the fourth. But now, when all these projects are coming out, they're kind of like a flash in the pan. Eternal Take 2 didn't even do like 2 months. People forgot about it. The pink and red tape that he dropped also, that barely did anything. I mean, the hit from that was what, Glock in My Purse. This, like, music is not lasting. Nothing has a staying power that it did before. It's not necessarily that Uzi isn't dropping good music. That's subjective, but it's more the sense that like, nothing is really staying at all. No one cares about anything music related. No one really cares about anything in the grand scheme of things.
Take, simply because of how much of a shock it was. Now, even with the album selling a crazy 300,000 units in its first week, the album actually ended up receiving mixed reviews. Totally forgettable album, don't think I listened to it more than twice, just had zero staying power with me. It had no standout songs like 20 Minutes, XO, Paradise, etc. Just kind of came and went in my opinion. The original album is so boring in my opinion, there's really only like 3 or 4 tracks that I actually go back to. I thought it was disappointing compared to stuff in the past, it was mostly underwhelming. I mean, Uzi himself would even say in an interview that he didn't like Eternal Take. Your last album, Eternal Take, is still charting 1 year after its release, but you've said that you weren't happy with the way it turned out. All of my music for Eternal Take got leaked, so I had to redo it. It didn't reach its full potential, I just knew it wasn't the sound I was going for. Let's just say Eternal Take.
Throw 1 in the chat if you're rocking with Uzi. Throw 1 in the chat if you're rocking with Uzi.
For another artist would have been really good because it was super dumbed down to where everyone could enjoy it. But that's not my artistry. I want my music to be more intimate to my real fans. I wanted it to be almost cult-like. Where in another interview, this time with Fat Joe on Instagram Live, he would say, the music is terrible and the music wasn't that great.
And the music is tolerable. It's not, oh my God, this is shit. The music is definitely there. It's good production, but Honestly, from Little Uzi Vert, we expect it. Star, moon, spaceships, and the high above, we expect everything from him because I'm already giving off this persona.
So if you yourself know that your project you dropped is not good, why would you release it? Unless there's like things going on in the background, like label pressure, man's could have had a way better project. But this is the other things when you're making things that are commercially viable, as record labels like to say, is they need to be hits. They need to be tracks that can go on the radio, tracks that can be played in video games or movies. So you end up sacrificing the artistic integrity of what you actually want to put out because the label says, nah, this is not this is not that. So there probably are a handful of tracks that were Uzi-esque that didn't make the project because the label said, you know what, this needs to be a smash, this needs to be a banger. There's a lot of politics that go on in the background of the music industry, and a lot of these kids asking for new music, this not Uzi, this not Uzi. Y'all don't really understand what goes on.
Pink diamond in the middle of my head, yo. Everything is supposed to be going fucking diamond.
Now honestly, it's quite upsetting to see an album perform so well numbers wise, yet get such mixed reviews and the artists themselves even disliking their biggest project. But there was nothing Uzi could do now, apart from put his head down, get back in the studio and release the next album. But the truth is, things would only continue going downhill from here onwards for him. So just 7 months after Eternal Take, Uzi would drop a collaborative tape with Future, which honestly I don't want to dive too deep into, it's a collaborative tape. It did get mixed reviews as some fans thought it was repetitive and boring, but it's whatever. I mean, it still sold an impressive 100,000 units in its first week, and I thought it was a pretty fun project. But after this album, Uzi would take a very dark turn in his career. In the July of 2021, Lil Uzi Vert's ex, Brittany Bird, was having a meeting with artist St. John at a cafe in Hollywood, discussing a business project. Now it seemed like Uzi got word that his ex was meeting up with another guy, where we can only presume he got jealous. Uzi would end up pulling up to that same cafe they were having the meeting at, where Uzi jumped out of an Escalade and confronted everyone at the table, and then got into it with St. John. He would first try throw a punch at him, miss, fall over, which led to his gun falling out onto the floor. It would be at this point when Brittany got up to try calm the situation down, which is when Uzi would pick up the gun and push it into her stomach, also allegedly striking her. Of course, a pretty disgusting.
Yo, that's crazy. This man's like 5'3" swinging with the blicky. Come on, bro. What are you doing? How come all these rappers always want to play gangster, bro?
Horrific thing to do to someone who was once a loved one you created albums about. And if you want to know more about Brittany and Uzi's relationship, check out my The Many Toxic Relationships of Lil Uzi Vert video. Eventually, Uzi would be arrested and charged with assault with a firearm, criminal threats and domestic violence, plus a misdemeanor charge of carrying a loaded firearm, which he would plead no content to a year later in the February of 2022, where he was sentenced to 3 years of formal probation, 1 year of treatment for mental health and substance abuse, and 52 weeks of domestic violence counseling. He must also pay restitution and comply with a 10-year criminal protective order, which is a very light sentence considering he not only hit a woman with a gun, but also literally pushed a gun into her stomach. Absolutely crazy. But this is
wild, bro. Y'all got the craziest lawyers, yo. Y'all got the craziest lawyers in the game.
A rapper attack a girl. And of course, since this is a quite common thing in the hip-hop industry, this did not at all affect Uzi's career, and really he went on as usual as if nothing happened. Now after the situation was over, it seemed like Uzi was ready to move on and reignite his career with Pink Tape, following the release of his Red and White EP in the July of 2022, which acted as a kind of pre-album
Pink and Red and White. I said it was Pink and Red or whatever the case might be. It doesn't even matter. This project was so lackluster. I can't even, for the life of me, remember the title of what it was called.
To feed the fans. Now, not to overhype it, but Pink Tape had huge anticipation. Uzi hadn't dropped any new music in 3 years.
But this project had some hits on it. Final Fantasy. This one also. What else was on there? Was Glock in My Purse on this one? I believe Glock in My Purse was on this one too. So yeah. So I mistaken my Uzi tracks for what they were. But I might even be mistaken what I just said there. For the, like, you know what I mean? Like, this is how the music business be moving, bro. Uzi be putting out so much music, I don't even remember where these tracks are coming off of.
And that's excluding the Red and White EP because that was just old songs. Anyways, he had just dropped multiple big songs with Just Wanna Rock, Watch This, and his feature on Yeat's Flawless. He was in a way more stable position in his life after he revealed he had been attending rehab for the past 7 months and was in a pretty healthy relationship with the rapper JT, so it was looking really good for Uzi. I mean, he even revealed he made over 600 songs just for Pink Tape, and eventually on the 30th of June in 2023, Pink Tape would drop with an enormous 26-song track list. Now, the opening of the album was amazing. Flooded the Face, Suicide Doors, A with Travis Scott, X2, Spin Again. The first 13 tracks or so were amazing, but then as we delved further and further into the album, things just got weirder and weirder. Track 14, Nakamura, the name of a heavily respected and decorated pro WWE wrestler, Shinsuke Nakamura. Sorry if I butchered the pronunciation. With the song sampling his theme song, The Rising Sun. A pretty different song, however. From what I can find on social media, a lot of different audiences actually enjoyed this song, so I don't think I can hate too much. But it was a pretty big step in a different direction from Uzi, and this was only really the beginning, as things would only get weirder and weirder. We've then got Fire Alarm with the Snow Strippers, an American electric music duo formed in Detroit. Now I actually think this song is fire. Uzi does this cool deep voice which mixes very well with the hectic beat and background vocals.
This is a dope
but
record.
The track after that, CS, where Uzi covers System of a Down's August 2001 hit single Chop Suey. Do I even need to explain what is wrong with Uzi not only putting a cover on his album but a cover of a rock song? Like, what even is the point? Now I don't want to make this entire video about Pink Tape, so I'm going to wrap this segment up. So track 18, Uzi would collaborate with rock band Bring Me the Horizon, which again I don't think is for me or many hip hop listeners. And then track 23, The End, featuring Baby Metal, which to me personally.
But the main thing about this, you have to appreciate Uzi's ability to dabble into the things that he actually likes. Rock music and electronic music, dance music. It's important that people are able to understand where he's coming from. I think, yeah, of course, it's not for everybody. It's not for the average hip hop listener, but if he can get you to kind of open your mindset and open where you want to, like where he can take music, he's able to kind of push your threshold a little bit further. And I think any kind of cool artist, dope artist should be appreciated for that. Because if you look at Wayne, when Wayne dropped his rock album, nobody was rocking with it. Okay, even on some of the Young Money tapes, he had a couple rock songs on there. At the time, everyone was like, "What is Wayne doing? Why is he doing rock music?" But now, when you listen back to the records, they're heavily ahead of his time and definitely influencing people like Lil Uzi Vert and also Cardi as well.
Personally, just sounds like a bunch of noise. Overall, the album would still perform pretty well, selling 167,000 units in its first week and debuting at number 1. Overall, a very solid performance, yet less sales than Eternal Take, but it was an experimental album and times have changed. People are pretty much only streaming these days, which makes it harder to get album sales. Now, this album would get mixed reviews just like Eternal Take, but with a lot more hate coming Uzi's way this time due to the very weird experimental songs he placed on the album.
Y'all hear the intro to this? I thought it was gonna be some alternative pop, man. This nigga are screaming. Now that I heard that song, this nigga giving me PTSD, and it sounds like this whole shit gonna be heavy metal the rest of the way. But Werewolf, Bring Me the Horizon, bro.
Like the highs were high, songs such as Rehab, of course, which is an old song but still fire, and A, but then the lows were low, which mainly consisted of those anime and rock songs. That Chop Suey cover is the worst shit I've heard in a minute. I'm not even joking, CS is my pick for the worst cover song ever recorded by a mainstream artist. There is nothing redeeming about it whatsoever. It takes the classic original and destroys it in every way. Even the mostly original instrumental sounds like shit. I must have grown.
Y'all are hating heavy, dude. Y'all are hating heavy.
Because the album is trash. So personally, the feeling I got from this album was Uzi can still make great music. He should probably just focus on song selection and stay away from the rock songs. Now, after this album, Uzi would go on this weird run of just rolling out different albums. He would start the rollout of Barter 6, taking inspiration from Young Thug's Barter 6, which was inspired by Lil Wayne's Carter 6. We saw Uzi basically cosplay as Young Thug for a couple of months before he would then announce Love Is Rage 3, the final chapter of his
I still want that project to drop, bro. Barter 16, that could have been sick.
Love Is Rage series, as he would also state he will be retiring after this album.
Can fans expect an update on Love Is Rage 3?
You're making me feel famous, Tim. You have to talk to me in like 3 minutes.
We always talk to you. When's the album coming? Love Is Rage 3. Is it really your last album?
Yeah.
Why is it your last album?
Because I don't want to really make music. I want to make music. I love making music, but I don't really want to make music like that no more.
What?
Driving?
So what's next after rapping?
I want to make like women's clothes.
Now, many fans thought Uzi just had enough of being in the spotlight all the time and being pestered by
Man said he wants to make women's clothes. I can get down with that. I can get down with that.
fan base. I mean, the dude has been in the scene for 10 years now, dropping hits on hits every year and probably just wants to live a quiet life. But as time went on, not only was he beginning to be under fire for his significant drop in quality of music, but also due to his unusual public appearances. Firstly, in 2023, Uzi would announce to the world that he now has a new persona, Leslie, where he would show himself wearing a wig and nail polish, posing in a weird manner, if that's how you want to describe it.
He's been saying this is Leslie. He's wearing like these boots and has his hair like that. Then we see him showing off this Leslie look again here. This is what I personally believe. Uzi playing around. I think this is another devilish, demonic. You know, I think Uzi's a stand of the devil. Uzi wants to be the devil. He can never be the devil, okay? We get it.
Oh my God, bro.
It's old. We're over it. But Uzi is infatuated with being the devil. You know, salute to Uzi. He's trying to do his new thing, I guess, with this image, whatever fucking thing, Leslie or whatever. Brother, just drop some music, man.
Now, Uzi would get heavy abuse from fans on social media. The first track mentioned Uzi taking NOS, nitrous oxide, also known as laughing gas or galaxy gas. It's an anesthetic that slows down your nervous system and induces a sense of calm and euphoria, with Uzi supposedly being introduced to this via opium producer Lil 88. Another artist.
You guys! Stop! Stop taking these substances. You stop it, you guys. What is this? Look at this photo of Kanye right now, bro. Look at this photo. Like, do you guys, like, oh my God, bro. Is this the state that y'all are in right now? This is the state where y'all are just taking anything you can find. Look at what this guy looks like right now, dude. Is this somebody, this looks like your uncle sending you photos. He just discovered some sort of new childlike euphoric substance and he's sending you pics like this. The audacity of y'all, bro. And it's crazy because if you are taking these things, whatever, you're provocative, bro. Take them behind closed doors. All right? Take them on your own time before you're about to go to sleep or whatever. In the studio, whatever. But make sure no one has their phones. Do what you got to do if you need to do it. All right? I'm not advocating for the use of it, but if this is what y'all are on, do it over there. But don't be posting photos of it because there's a bunch of people that are youngins that are looking at you guys and saying like, yo, Uzi's doing it, I'm gonna do it. Look at the proclivity and the way that all the lean cups and all that stuff got into the music, in the music business. Even people that aren't even in the music business be sipping lean. It's like, just because everyone has a double cup in a music video, people be pushing that. I'm telling you guys, you have to understand the youth are way too programmable, bro. Way too programmable.
You may be familiar with, Ye was also addicted to this substance after getting dental surgery. Now, fans were very disappointed to see Uzi back onto the substances pretty much a year after getting out of rehab, and then bragging about it on the intro track for his newest album. Now, to keep it short and simple, fans weren't happy with this album at all. It seemed completely rushed and sloppy, with fans beginning to claim that nitrous destroyed his career. I mean, I hate to hate on Uzi so much, but this was atrocious. Personally, all I can say is I liked the second half of the album where he went back to his roots and did more so of melodic music. Here is what fans had to say though. It's a shame to admit that your once favorite artist has fallen off, especially a shame since I really loved the Vert EA.
That's a fact, man. A lot of these cats now, I don't know what the new generation of rappers is like, but I can definitely say that rapping as a whole is on the way out. I think what's happening right now is you can clearly hear with the whole drumless thing and West Side Gun and things that they're doing is they're bringing back the whole boom bap. So I think rap has fully gone full circle. Like we've hit the peak of what it means to mumble and to be artsy and weird and rage. And now we're going fully all the way back to the start of hip hop of just classic beats and bars. If you've listened to the recent wave of rappers that are like taking off right now, especially on like social media, it's just bars. It's lyricism. Lyricism has made a return. And I think that's a good thing because I don't know how much further we could have pushed the threshold of what is hip hop, dude. I think we reached the peak. And we are still in the cycle of music where it's called the doldrums, where it's just crappy music. So eventually we're going to hit the cycle of being back to pop hits and all of that stuff. So you should look into the cycle of music and what that really means. I'm gonna show you guys really quick before I conclude this video. I always keep it here. I think I might have got rid of it. All right, here we go. So this is what we call the music cycle chart. I'm gonna just get into this really quick. We're gonna get into this real quick. All right. All right, here we go. So the doldrums. These are the doldrums right here. The doldrums is always the end of the cycle. The doldrums is when music hits a terrible point. Okay, doldrums is right here from 2020 to 2025. I would still say we're in the doldrums. So that's where we have the Drake, the Little Babies, the Chris Browns, blah blah blah, right? But this is like we have country crossovers and remakes. Okay, that's what we have right now. We are literally in that era, the doldrums, and then music is going to make a resurgence, and it's going to be called the rebirth. All right, it's going to be pop music, rock music, R&B, hip hop, classic hip hop stuff, and it's going to make a resurgence. So eventually, we're going to get back to the good old times of music. But right now, the music business is on a terrible, terrible downward slope, guys.